Right now, you might be in your youth, possibly a teenager just starting your journey into fitness with minimal responsibilities. Your days are filled with the freedom to pursue your fitness goals at your own pace. You can do pretty much whatever you want to do. On the other hand, you could be in your mid-20s and beyond, navigating the complexities of a long-term relationship or even married with children. In each of these life stages, your ability to train will change significantly. But it's not just about what you're physically capable of. It's also about what your calendar will allow. Life throws curveballs like new work commitments, building a business, or nurturing relationships all the time. In this episode, we have Glenn Dawson of Reset You, an individual who has successfully navigated all phases of fitness, all while building a thriving coaching business. He's worked with countless executives and entrepreneurs, initially as a solo operator, and now as a part of a dynamic family team. Glenn has played a pivotal role in my own growth as a coach and content creator, so trust me when I say, whether you are a gym enthusiast or a fitness professional, there's valuable wisdom here for you. In this episode, be prepared to discover how to maintain a lifelong commitment to learning and practicing fitness, the art of distinguishing between credible and dubious at best fitness advice in an ever-evolving landscape of fitness information. You'll also be gaining insights into training high-achieving entrepreneurs versus what it's like with the average gym goer. You'll also uncover the weird reason why making mistakes as a coach is actually a good thing. If this is your first time here, I make bi-weekly deep dives into fitness, nutrition, and wellness pop culture trends, as well as holistic bodybuilding and powerlifting content. So make sure to subscribe to hear more of that. For today's Amazon gift card giveaway, put a comment under this video about something you were wrong about in the gym. So with all that out of the way, guys, my name is Andrew. Let's get into it. You've been doing this for 16 years. I've been doing this for a little over a decade. How do you actually stay up to date with new exercises, new exercise science, new nutrition, supplements, et cetera? How are you actually staying up to date with all that?
The biggest thing is other people's podcasts. I would love to say that I'm doing research and putting my boot on the ground myself and doing the research. But it's kind of a flow of catchy headline. Oh, that's really cool. And then go do the research, find out, more, read the clinical study, and find out if what the person that was talking about it in the podcast was actually truthful or not. And then the other way is just different certification programs, like somebody that I feel like has a good base of knowledge. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. I want to do that, or I want to learn that. Take their certification course. Like the one I just recently did was Norton's nutrition certification course.
How are you actually applying all that? Like as that information comes up, as you become more confident in it, are you more so testing that on yourself? Are you going straight into testing it for clients, or what's been that process for you?
It depends on how much research is done on the changes. Like if it's just one offhand study, I'm not going to change much. I'll be interested in it and start testing it out on myself. If it's a across the board change, then I'll change a lot more. Like all the changes that came with intermittent fasting, and all the initial studies were like, oh, it's the best thing ever, and it can help you insulin sensitivity and everything else. It really just helps you so you're not hungry and you can get to a caloric deficit better. So that was a huge shift for me. And when all the research came out for it, we just started changing our protocols a lot more. Same thing with intermittent fasting and the effects on women too, as well. The more and more research that came out on how it affected women, we made more changes to our programs.
What would you say are some of the more recent things you've actually started modifying? Just what's came out recently that you're really interested in, that you're checking into and seeing how you can apply it to yourself and your clients?
Intermittent fasting isn't for everyone, and it's a tool. That was a big one. Free warm-ups before you work out instead of stretching. We have our clients do their mobility, like foam rolling and their stretching, to get into a good postural state and make sure that their mobility is good, so that they're moving correctly. But we also have them do a lengthy warm-up now too, as well, to fire the right muscles, especially those small stabilizer muscles before they do macro lifts.
So it's like integrating like recruiting muscles into an overall movement instead of just like stretch this, foam roll this, blah, blah, blah. Like it's a little bit more around like optimizing the movement more or less.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Very specific to each individual. So if they have um, a movement issue that we've identified in our assessment, um, we're going to fix that first because we know our goal is to create automatic repetitions that are perfect, and practice doesn't make perfect. It just creates repetitions. So we want to neurologically wire them to do the correct movements. And if they just don't have the flexibility or mobility to move correctly, um, we'll do two things. One is get them to move correctly first before. Then once they're moving better, everything is adjusted. All the movements that we have them do, exercises, lifts, are adjusted to where they're at now in a postural state to activate the muscles that we need, lengthen the tight dominant ones so they can move better and more free. And then once they are balanced out, which usually takes 3 to 4 weeks, depending on how consistent the client is, um, then we just move into much less mobility work and much more just strategic warm-ups.
Right, right. So it's you basically handle the like really really big things where it's like, oh God, we've got 20 different things. It's a lot more work up front, more or less.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. We have a pain-free and proud guarantee. So within the first 30 days, if you're not pain-free and proud of the weight loss you've had, we'll refund your money in full. So for us, that's a pretty big claim since most of the people have gone to physical therapists, they've seen doctors, they've had injections, they've got a lengthy history of pain relief, and they've dealt with chronic pain for years. And as far as weight loss goes, they've tried everything. Um, it's a big deal for us to get them to hit those checkpoints. And then it also adds to them being motivated and continuing. Because if they know that they can accomplish that in 30 days, what does 3 months look like? What does
Right,
six
right,
months
right.
look like? And it's easier for us to. Fitness is hard, dude. Changing those habits is difficult. So if we can reward them so much up front with outstanding results, they're much more likely to keep them.
So how when new things are coming out, when you get exposed to more information, how are you packaging that to people? Because like I'm thinking about like Paul Saladino, for example. He made like his entire business, and no hate to Paul Saladino, but he made like his entire business carnivore, and then he gets his blood work back, and he's like, "Oh, this is not what I was hoping for." Introduces like fruit and honey and a couple other things, and he's like, "Oh, okay, this is a lot better." A lot of people look at that, and I'm not necessarily one of these people, but a lot of people ended up looking at that and were like, "Oh my God, this guy, like, what an idiot! He has no idea what he was talking about." Blah blah blah. Personally, I looked at that as went, "Okay, this guy was presented with new information, pivoted, and re-educated himself and his clients accordingly." How have you done that as your belief around different things have changed so that it's not seen as like, oh, this person's a failure, they don't know what they're talking about? Because obviously that's not how that is.
It never feels good to be wrong, ever. Um, but I feel like the people that I respect and the people that I think most people respect in a leadership role or in an expert role are the ones that are willing to say that they made a mistake. This is kind of off topic, but how crazy would it be if like Dr. Fauci was like, listen, guys, I made a mistake. Here's where I screwed up. I'm going to own it. This was my fault. Um, and I understand what you guys want to do after this, but I'm going to move forward. I bet you people would have a lot more respect for him. They'd lash out. They'd be pissed at first, but like they'd have so much more respect for him. You'd probably get fired and everything else, but dude, at least you can respect it. At least you would respect it. Um,
I'm so demonetized now. I'm just kidding.
yeah, people that don't admit their failures, like it's childish, honestly, to not admit when you're wrong. And it's selfish because the end goal isn't to prove that you're right. The end goal is to make sure that your client gets really good
To
results.
actually help people.
So, yeah, if you have new info that tells you a better way to get your clients results, of course I'm going to change it. The whole point of Reset You is to give clients the access to the cutting edge science that's going to get them better results. You can't not change and have cutting edge science.
You really prioritize not pigeonholing yourself. It's Tom Bilyeu has a thing that he says where he's like, if you pride yourself on being the smartest person in the room, you're going to fail. But if you pride yourself on being the person who learns the quickest, like it's infinitely better, because then it stops being I know what's right. It starts being right now I'm confident in it, but if things change, I'm going to update that accordingly. So you had a kid recently, and you've got a second one on the way.
Yes. Yeah.
So what like a ton of Gen Z folks follow me. Like it's like 30% is 18 to 24, and then 30% is 25 to 34. Or excuse me, 18 to 24, and then 25 to 34. I think I just said that. You've kind of gone through that whole area age wise through fitness, through dating, all these different things. And, that's obviously a huge thought with a lot of people. Um, how have how has your actual fitness routine changed from being, post high school, college, to, going around dating, to being in a serious relationship, to getting married, and then now to having kids, being married, running a business? Like there's no way your routine at 19 and your routine at, mid 30s are the same. What has that actually looked like progressively?
Um, the goal has changed a lot. The goal now is just to be bulletproof and be able to sprint and jump and run and throw a football as hard as I possibly can and throw punches as hard as I possibly can. So I could teach my kids like martial arts and sports, and kick their ass at sports, um, and not break down. Um, I remember my dad was 25 and he was a martial arts master and taught me a lot. And those at home reps that you get, you can go to any kind of school, any dojo, and you go there 2 times a week. But if your dad's teaching you every single night, it's exponential how much more you can learn. And I want to give that to my kids because I got that gift. I'm very grateful for it. Can't do it if you're out of shape and your body don't work. So my goals shifted when I was 19. Uh, I just got done playing sports and I was 210 and I wanted to fit into normal clothes so I could be more uh, like small, I guess, because I was too jacked and I'm not tall, 5'9". So 210 at 5'9" looks like a square. It's not like what I wanted. I wanted more of a V taper. I wanted to look more normal. Uh, so I did a ton. I literally, for like 2 years, didn't lift anything over 315. I would just rep it. I was repping 315 on
Subtle
squat.
brag.
That's a no, no, no. It's funny though, because I got up to 32 reps with 315 for squat
Jesus
just because
Christ.
I wouldn't go over. So like, I also didn't know that that was just hypertrophy. Like I was making my muscles more
Right,
jacked.
right.
Um, and then I also, because back then, remember, like things change. That's how you got
That's exactly
smaller.
what I
Was
was
like,
thinking.
yeah, you did high reps, and then I also did distance running and like a caloric deficit, ate like little to nothing, and got down to like 185. And I was like, this is nice. I can fit into normal clothes again. I was wearing size 38 jeans, and my waist was still 30 inches. It's disgusting.
Jesus.
Um, I wanted to fit into normal clothes. Once I got into a medium shirt, I was so happy, dude. I was the happiest ever. And so from that point on, it was just glamour. I lifted I lifted legs hard twice a week because I could recover from it, and I lifted every major muscle group hard twice a week. And then I did a shit ton of cardio because I could recover from it. And now I can't lift hard on legs twice a week, and I don't need to. Honestly, like the muscle density that I have is so much easier to maintain. Like I can lift legs once hard a week, and then train hard at jujitsu or run or something else. My legs are still jacked. I don't need to worry about it. Um, and as far as like nutrition goes, my nutrition's been a lot more on point because I'm just not as active as I was when I was 19. I was doing like flag football, competitive running, like all kinds of stuff. And I just don't
You
have
got
time
you
for
got
that.
away with a lot
So,
more like drinking and snacking and stuff on the weekends. Is that what you're saying?
oh yeah, for sure, for sure. I don't think my metabolism has changed much. I just think I'm nowhere near as active as I was because I would my workout would be like an hour long, and then I would have an hour of cardio if I wanted it, and then take like a half hour shower at the gym before work because you're already at the gym. So like, who cares? Now I don't have time
Honestly,
for that. I've got
low key, incredible part of working at a gym was being able to shower. Right, like, oh my god, such a like goated aspect of working there. How do you think you being a dad has actually influenced like some of the changes? Obviously, you want to get stronger, you want to be able to defend them, but also being like in a relationship, just being married to having kids. How did things change? How do you? God, you know what? No, change that. Way better question. How do you stay fit in general? Because you've made a couple really what some people would say are maybe a bit snarky Facebook posts. I don't think they're snarky. I think they're just accurate. A lot of people get on you and go, "Oh, well, you won't understand. You'll understand how hard it is once you become a dad." And then you add a kid, and you're like, "Hey, this didn't really change much. Still maintaining a six pack. Still maintaining this. Still maintaining that." How do you actually manage that?
everyone's perception is their reality. And I remember before having a kid, everyone told me, "You're going to get fat. Your wife's going to eat bad. You're going to eat bad." It's like, no, that doesn't need to happen. It doesn't need to be that way. Um, so I eat clean, and I actually got rotator cuff surgery. It was just something I couldn't repair. Saw every physical therapist. That was actually super difficult to overcome. Being a guy who prides himself on getting rid of pain, not being able to get rid of your own because you have a hole in your rotator cuff, like that sucked. But I wanted to get it done before she was born, so I got it done before she was born. Regained mobility and strength and everything. Held her with that arm and everything before she was born. So I made my diet really clean beforehand because I didn't want. I knew that you just strategize and plan. I knew I'd have less time to cook. I remember the first week I had like 6 breakfast burritos. It's like it's a lot of protein. The carbohydrates aren't great for you, but like, dude, I don't have time to cook, and it gives me everything that I need. Um, and then I have a really awesome wife who's super supportive. So I just changed my workouts. I do my mobility at home when the baby was sleeping, and then I'd go work out for 20 minutes, and I do either like an AMRAP style workout or like a 20-minute total body with just straight compound movements. But there's a way to kill yourself in 20 minutes. You don't need 40 minutes. You don't need an hour. Um, and yeah, dude, I said great shape the entire time. And then sleep, everyone talks about how you're going to get terrible sleep. I checked my sleep data. Didn't go below a 70 the whole time when she was in labor. We didn't have an Oura ring on my wife. Admittedly, it's way harder for someone who's going through labor to sleep. Uh, I'm sure her sleep score was below 70. So ladies, if you're listening to this, like you're the real ones. Um, 36 hours of labor. I don't know. I don't know if she slept really well, but we made sure to plan it out, dude. Go to bed at 8:30 if you have to. Who cares? What are you gonna do? What do you do literally between 8:30 and 9:30 or 10 when you go to bed? You're just watching trash TV anyway.
Yeah, I was gonna
So
say watching TV and fucking around.
yeah, just go to bed, and then you wake up, take care of your daughter or your son, whoever it is. Go back to bed. If you're smart, you do shifts, um, and you get the opportunity to take care of your daughter and get your sleep too, and you don't miss a beat as an entrepreneur. Um, there's too many people that rely on you not to. Uh, but yeah, I found a way to make working out and diet non-negotiable, um, because it is. Everyone in your company relies on you. Everyone in your clients relies on you. Your newborn baby relies on you. Your wife or husband relies on you. Every single person relies on you if you're the decision maker to be at your best. And if you're not, because you're eating inflammatory foods and you have brain fog, or you're not exercising, so you're depressed and anxious all the time, and you feel like shit, and you look in the mirror and you feel fat and you're not confident, and you're going to make different decisions,
Oh yeah.
and you're going to perform at a less high level, and that's not fair to them. So figure it out and make it work. Um, yeah, the biggest change, our priorities have changed. I just don't watch as many movies. I don't watch as much TV. Um, and I treasure my workout because I get it in, get done. I don't definitely don't talk to people at the gym. Um, but yeah, it's easy, dude. What if I wish people knew how easy it was to incorporate it into their schedule. And there's so many people that use it as an excuse, especially if you're a male, like business owner, entrepreneur, high performer. If you're a male and you're complaining about being a dad, God, dude, you have it so easy. It is so easy. It's way harder for a female. But I've seen so many females do it. Like, it is possible. You can do it. Everybody can do it. There's plenty of women that have 4 kids and they find a way to run their real estate business, keep closing deals, and be there for their kids, and find, a half hour at the gym or work out at home while the baby's napping. They figure it out.
So there's a really, really large portion of your clientele that are actually these high performing entrepreneurs. What is it that you're actually doing different with them compared to like the average person?
I get to be myself around them.
Mm.
Meaning I don't have to try to convince them that this is possible. And I get to call them out when they're bullshit because they know. Most people that are successful, they got there because of personal accountability and delayed gratification. So they know when they're fucking up. They don't need to be taught, like, hey, like, this whole rigmarole, like, you can get results, and maybe you're just blaming your parents, and like, maybe you're just blaming your genetics, maybe you're just blaming this. They're not a victim. And so it's easier to talk to them, it's easier to coach them, it's easier to hold them accountable just because they know they do what you ask. I literally just tell them, you do these things, XYZ, you will get X in return. Like, these are the variables. You do these, you will have a pain-free body that's stronger and faster and more toned in this timeline. You'll hit these points. If you go off, 10%, it'll slow you down and you'll hit this. These will be your goals. You go off a lot, you will never hit. It's up to you. Now, I'm going to hold you accountable. So when you do fall off, I'll be there for you. It's okay. We all do. We're all human beings. No one's perfect. You're going to fall off. All I ask is that you acknowledge it, we plan for it, and fix it so that it doesn't happen again. Or when it does happen, we plan for it. So, hey, like, you're going to have a cheat day here. You're going to do whatever you want. You're going to go off and you're going to take a week off of working out. You're just going to walk. Whatever it is, we're being strategic about it. You're not just creating bad habits. And for the most
So it
part,
sounds like a lot of it is just you're able to be like significantly more blunt and direct with them, and able to just like so do they like kind of refocus back onto course a lot quicker than the average person does?
much quicker.
Hmm.
I don't have to do as much mindset coaching as I have to do with the lower levels. Lower levels mean like lower price points. Like, if somebody's paying me a lot of money, it means that they're financially more successful.
Right.
Um, and so there's less mindset coaching. There's less time spent doing that. It's more about do this, do this, do this, do this. And there's less course corrections. Whereas the person who doesn't make as much money, who's in one of our lower tier programs, we have a lot more mindset built in. Because what I found is they do need more help with that mindset area. They have more mental blocks that are holding them back from success. They haven't overcome yet. And it's not always like that. It's just, that's just how our numbers have fallen. We have years of data for this. So we really coach around mindset at the very beginning of that program to make sure that they're following their program and they understand, like, hey, you can do this. This is possible. And you don't need to blame your parents. You don't need to blame your genetics. You don't need to blame your schedule. You don't need to blame anything. You're in control and you can do this. So it's different approaches for different price points, because they're different people. Like, they're in a different part of their journey and are even smaller. Like, our lowest price program is $97. And that one is like the lowest amount of work to do. And it has much more mindset.
I want to be respectful of your time. Can you expand more on what the mindset stuff is actually like?
Yeah. Yeah. For which level?
I guess let's go more entry level, because I feel like that'll probably be more all encompassing. Actually, which one's the most interesting to you?
They're all interesting to me, dude. I want to
Hit
help
whatever you're
people.
feeling.
So like, I want to help people. So it's very important to know the best way to help that person. And the people that are in our entry level programs, they usually have the least amount of belief that they could do it. And they also have the most resistance. So it's very important to get them wins that are easy, um, take less pressure, give them small, simple tasks, and then remove the more difficult ones, um, and save them for later. So we slow down the program a lot. There's no coaching there. There's no like, um, not as much accountability. Like we have a group for them and everything, but there's not like a one-on-one person. Like I don't have somebody texting you, like you do if you have a one-on-one client.
Right.
And the mindset thing, we literally start them off with like a 10-minute long video. At the end of the video, it's like, hey, you've watched this 10-minute long video. Go ahead and comment in the group your goals and let us know what they are. If you didn't watch this 10-minute long video, we know you didn't even start. You didn't have 10 minutes
Ooh,
for your goal.
that's so good. I had a client's daughter once upon a time who wanted I can't remember what it was, but she wanted help with something, and I was like, "Hey, here's a book. It'll explain most of your questions. Read this and just bring it back when you're done." And she was like, "Okay, cool." I hid $100 bill in like the last quarter of the book, and then she gave it back to me, and that $100 bill was still sitting in there. And I go, "Did you read it all?" And she goes, "Yeah." And I did. I said, "Did you find anything interesting in there?" And she's like, "Oh, blah, 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 this and that." And I said, "Did you find the $100 bill?" And she's like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah." And it's just immediately I'm like, "You didn't even read it. You don't even want help." It's just it's crazy how much people will want help in their mind, but as soon as they've got to take action on it, it's just like, "Meh." So is that ever like a non-starter for you? Like when you have people like that where they're not even willing to, they won't watch the 10-minute video, they don't post what their goals are. Like how are you actually trying to get people over that hump, or is that kind of a, hey, you won't even take that first step?
No, no, it's different. They raise their hand with $97 or $120. Like if they bought it on a sale price, it's $97. It's $127 if they just bought it. So if they raise their hand and they put their money there and said like, I'm willing to do this. Here's what I have. Um, we're gonna bend over backwards to make sure we support them. I definitely stopped giving away a ton of stuff for free. I can't tell you how many times I've given away stuff and it never gets opened or it never gets used or people don't use it. Um, and like 10% of the time they'll actually get results from it. It breaks my fucking heart because I put so much work into it and so much. I want them to achieve this more than they do. So the people that do raise their hand and give an investment, that first video is there to tell them like, hey, this is like everybody in this group, they're serious. You're serious. You watch the 10 minutes. Everybody there is serious. Everybody you see that's commenting is serious. They all watch a 10-minute video. So you made it. Like you are one of the people that's going to get results. And then after that, we go over um, an exercise in setting goals. And it's like a 7-minute long video because most people don't know how to set a goal. They're like, I want to lose 20 pounds. That's not a goal. That's the journey to get to like 140, whatever your end goal is. And most people are so focused on the journey, they don't know what their end goal is. They just want to get out of pain. Getting out of pain is completely different. It's like rocket fuel. It's quick, gets you quick results, and then it burns out. You got nothing left, no momentum, and you're stuck and you're satisfied. So if you want to get all the way to your end goal, you have to plan for all the way to your end goal. Whether it's a size 6, whether it's running with your kids pain free, running the marathon, whatever your end goal is, you have to define it. And you have to create a timeline for it so that you know, even if you just do the most basic level habits and you're not breaking records attending like achieving this goal, you're not like going so slow that you can still have your bad habits. Like if someone says, I want to lose 20 pounds in the year of, 2024, you're never going to hit that fucking goal. It's not going to happen because 20 pounds, you could do that in a month. So like, you're not going to make the small changes that you would need and habit changes, and you're not going to get the reward that you would need for making those changes. And you're just going to keep pushing it away and procrastinating. And those are huge habits to not have success. Um, and so after that, it's like 4 workouts in the first week, very limited foam rolling and stretching, very limited actual work. And their first assignment is for nutrition is just eat off this foods list. And then here's recipes on how to cook the foods. I don't care about macros. Don't calculate a single macro.
God, I
Don't
fucking love
intermittent
that you
fast.
do that.
Don't do anything. Just eat whole foods and eat off this list. Eat as much as you want. If you don't know how to make a meal, here's the instructions on how to make the meals. Here's the meals. Here's videos on that, like everything, so that it's just small steps, baby steps.
Make it so easy
The
an
biggest
8-year-old
thing
can
is
do it.
the biggest thing is getting them a goal. And then we start to just add in stuff that takes them out of being a victim and more into ownership of their life. Every single step of the way.
Right.
And one-on-one is completely different. One-on-one is like, here's everything you need to do. Here's everything I need you to foam roll so you can meet these qualifications next week and we can see improvement. Eat this list. We do an overfeed, but it's like, eat exactly what I wrote. Don't go off the program. We also know what foods you like, so we construct the nutrition program for you. Like, everything is done for you. And if you don't like it, let us know. We'll change it quickly for you. So let your chef or yourself know. If you need help creating the foods, let us know. And then next week, here's what we should see. Like, you should have lost, 2-3 pounds, and you should have your back pain at a scale of 8 to 10 should be down to a 5 or a 4 on a level, 10 being the worst. And like, you should be able to have like a full squat. Your hips should be, not shifting as much. Like, we just set literally like weekly checkpoints every single week. So they know this is a lot of inputs, but I'm going to take it in. I'm going to do it. And then next week when we meet, because Glenn told me, or Brianna told me, or Ashley told me, one of our coaches, like, I hit these checkpoints.
Yeah.
Here's
Shout
my
out
reward.
Ashley.
Yeah. And they usually
I'm gonna
all the
link to
checkpoints.
another podcast that I have with her as well. Actually, I'm sorry. What did you just say? I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, we're very good at under promising and over delivering as well. So like, people consistently hit their goals. That's important too, especially with high performers.
Absolutely. Well, I know we agreed to quite a bit less time than this, so I want to let you go and get to it. Is there a couple things? Any closing thoughts? Anything I didn't ask you about that's like really on your mind lately? Any advice for the Gen Z to millennials that are watching this that are interested in working out or thinking about getting into coaching or anything like that?
Anybody who's new, you have so much to learn and you need repetitions. So do whatever you can to get repetitions. Um, don't focus on the money. Just focus on acquiring knowledge and repetitions. That's it. Like, you have to get better. And so if you can find a job that will hire you with somebody that's really, really good that can train you, you can learn under and you can watch them, then do it. Or if you can find a job that will give you a ton of clients, do it. If you're going to go off on your own and you're going to acquire your own clients, make sure they're getting results and make sure you're checking in and learning all the time, and just keep focusing on that. And the more you focus on getting repetitions, especially at their weak points, or you find a client that doesn't get results, one of the things that I think made me and helped me be successful was it kept me up at night and hurt my stomach physically when a client wouldn't get results. Like, almost like before you throw up. Gave me so much guilt. They paid me and I didn't give them what I promised that I would give them. It hurt so bad that I never wanted to feel that. Like, I was stealing from them and I don't want to steal. So I would bend over backwards turn over every single rock to try to get this client results. And there have been clients that didn't get results. And each one of them I remember perfectly because I let them down. It hurts my soul. Some of them I've brought back and got them results. Some of them I haven't. And it's just, if you know what your intent is, if your intent is to be good and get people results, everything else will fall in place. Because the more people that you can get results where they failed before, you're already blowing their mind. They're going to refer you clients. It's very simple. It's not that difficult. The money will come.
I think a lot of trainers, when they very first get into it, try to focus on being the perfect trainer for everybody, when the reality is you're not going to be in the very beginning. Get really good at training one group of people. And then just once you hit a point where you're like, oh, I don't know how to help this person, start learning about that one next once you feel comfortable. Because it's the same thing. I've had clients I couldn't help. You and I have actually traded clients before, which is really funny. And I think that is kind of an exercise in being humble, is realizing that you might be a great trainer. You might not be the right trainer for this person. There's actually currently an ex-client of mine that I still follow on Instagram, and she just posted something this morning, and I was like, damn, she looks great. So yeah, you're not always going to be the right trainer for people too, guys. Just something to keep in mind. If people want to find you, Glenn, where do they find you?
resetyou.com.
And if they want to get coaching from you, where do they go?
resetyou.com.
Is there any resetyou.com/whatever, any discounts or plans you got coming up, anything like that?
Like a promo code?
Yeah. I don't know if you have one. I'm not asking for one. I'm saying I don't know if you have something coming up.
We don't have that. We have a ton of giveaway stuff though. So it depends on like if your goal is fat loss. We literally give away the first month of our program for fat loss and nutrition. And if you needed help with like pain relief, we literally give away the exact stretches we would do to give you mobility in the joints that are causing muscular imbalances that are causing the pain, and give you instructional videos on how to do it as well. So there's a lot of free stuff there too. And then all of that's at resetyou.com. So it just depends on what you need help with specifically, and we'll get you help.
Cool. And if people want to see you on Instagram, is that an option?
Yeah, at Real
Glenn Dawson. All righty. Anything else you want to throw out there before we kill it?
No.
All right, beautiful. All righty, guys. Well, my name is Andrew, and this is Glenn Dawson with Reset You. Until next time, guys, see y'all later. What a guest, huh, guys? Please go comment on their Instagram and let them know that you saw them here. And while you're just doing things that I ask you to, make sure to click this top video that I have linked. That is the last episode of the podcast, which I guarantee will add 10 pounds of muscle to your body. I'll see you there. Later.